Hello and welcome everyone to the Filmmaking Sucks podcast,
where we tell you about all the mistakes you can make while producing a film and explain how you can avoid them yourself.
And I am one of your hosts, Manny.
And I'm another host, Lindsay.
We're back.
Yeah.
We are just the two of us today.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, we're back. So, we took a little bit of a break. Unfortunately, we didn't want the break.
Not by choice.
Not by choice. No, not by choice. The break was not by choice. So that happened. That happened during a week, which was terrible for us for it to happen during that week.
Yes.
We had already taken a week or two off simply because of the amount of shows we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we just didn't have time to get to.
Yeah, we had one crazy weekend. We were at Severed on Saturday in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and then the next day we were in Lake Apatcong for First Contact, which were both great shows. We had a blast. I saw some really cool movies.
Yep.
We got a premiere Knock Knock.
Yes, you did. We premiered Knock Knock at Severed.
And our friend Angie Hansen and
Phil Kroll.
There you go. They won they won Audience Choice at Severed, so congratulations to them. That was big for them. The first time they ever screened their film, and they walked away with Audience Choice.
It was actually the first film when Angie first moved to New York 3 years ago. The first film that she worked on was this, called The Devil's Cut. And she has a little extra part in it, but she's been working consistently with Phil ever since. All their films, and they actually shoot on 8mm and 16mm.
So cool.
They actually shoot on film. This was shot on film because Phil's been working on film for so long. He's kind of never stopped.
Yeah, lucky guy.
So 3 years ago they shot this short, and they finally got it finished.
Yeah.
Now they've done other shorts in the past. They've done other shorts in between that time and released it and put them out and everything. And I know that Angie and Phil were both very. Oh man, we just want to get this one out there already, and it was very, very good. I liked it a lot. Right up my alley.
Yeah.
I liked that story a lot.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very Masters of Horror-esque.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So while I wish we would have won, they won.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with it because it was a really good film, and again, they're friends of ours. So.
Yep.
So they won Best Film with the Devil's Cut.
And if you get a chance to see it in a film festival, I mean, definitely follow Angie Hansen and Phil Kroll. There you go. So definitely check them out. We can put that in show notes or something.
Yeah.
Because we're professionals.
I guess so.
Definitely give them, a follow and see if you can catch the Devil's Cut when it comes to a festival near you.
Yep. So on to the show. You called us professionals?
PRO-fessionals.
PRO-fessionals. I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that yet.
Well,
You're becoming a professional. You're almost a professional.
I had a big. I mean, not really. I guess it was pretty big.
Which is why we say that this was so
Badly
bad timing for this to happen. You were on Making Movies is Hard.
I was.
Oh, wow. You were on Making Movies is Hard.
If you guys are not listeners of Making Movies is Hard, don't turn off this episode. But when you're done with us, definitely go and find them on your podcast app because these guys are great. I've been listening to them for a long, long time now. I'm actually according to them, one of their longest listeners.
Technically, it's me. Because I found it and I sent it to you. Yeah,
then you sent it to me.
And I sent it to you.
But I listened and I tweeted and we made friends on Twitter. Timothy and Ulrich are two professionals working in the Bay Area.
Ulrich Purcell and Timothy Plain.
Yep.
Yes.
They are professionals working in the Bay Area, and they have a show which inspired us to do this one, I'd say. Theirs is a little bit more... I don't even know.
PRO-fessional?
Yeah, PRO-fessional. They deal with emotional roller coaster and a lot of the feelings, and
they're working professionals.
Yeah, they're working professionals.
Yeah, Timothy is a producer for a commercial firm. I don't know if he's ever said what it is or not, but I'm not sure. I don't know the name of it. But he works as a producer producing commercials, and he's done many big big commercials that I guarantee you've seen. I believe he's even produced a Super Bowl spot at one point for one of the companies that they were. I mean, their company gets basically, companies want a commercial done. They come to them to shoot the commercials.
Right.
And he produces them.
He's actually started directing recently.
Yep.
A couple of the commercials.
He's done his own short films as well. And Ulrich is I guess best word would be freelancer.
I guess so, yeah.
He's a freelance cameraman, director, producer,
AD. He's done some scripty work.
Yep. Timothy's done all this stuff as well. They both work in this, but Timothy's focus is mainly for the commercials.
Yeah.
He gets mostly commercial work, and Ulrich does a lot more freelance on indie productions, some big productions, some TV stuff, and he's done a couple commercials.
Oh, and they recently did a music video together, which is cool.
Yep. So the two of them are. This is why we call them professionals, because people pay them to do what they do, and I think that's what makes you a real professional, when it becomes your job.
Yeah, when you don't have to go somewhere else 9 to 5 or whatever hours that you have.
Yeah, I mean, even so. I mean, even there's still a lot of people who do this and they still work part-time jobs, but it's a bulk of your income.
Yeah.
It's a bulk of your income, and not like a small percentage.
And a bulk of your time.
A bulk of your time and income is coming from making films and commercials and video work in general.
Yeah.
So I think right off the bat, I think that's what would define professional. This is your job. When people say, "What do you do?" I say I make movies, but that's just what I do.
Yeah.
It's not what pays my rent. It's not what pays my bills, unfortunately. No. They say they make films and commercials. Yes, it is what pays their bills.
Yeah.
That's their job.
And so we've been listening to them for a while, and they're really great because they kind of they do an update of where they are with their careers, and then they kind of choose a topic and they discuss that, and they kind of keep everybody up to date.
2 years now.
For 2 years. Yeah, officially I was on their 2-year anniversary show.
Episode 104.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's me, 104.
Their official 2-year anniversary episode.
So happy anniversary, guys, first off.
Yep.
And what was I saying? I don't know where I was going with that. I had a whole flow going, and you threw me off.
Sorry, I broke you. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they keep you up to date with their work and what they've been doing and their progress, because neither one of them has actually made a feature film of their own. They both want to write and direct their own feature films, and that's kind of what the show is leading toward.
Oh, as fans, it's so hard to listen sometimes, because all they want to do is make a feature, and they talk about it all the time, and you just want to see them make it already. It's sort of like, that's why I'm listening to the show now. It's just because I'm waiting. Mm-hmm.
And so that's their goal right now.
Yeah.
That's their goal, and that's what they do in the show, and they kind of update you on their progress. They've had a lot of ups and downs over the course of the last 2 years, which we followed them, and lots of other people have followed them. Hey, I remember when they got there. We officially have 1,000 listeners, right? And they were, oh my God, they were so elated. And I remember they said like a year earlier they had just hit 500. Oh man, I hope we can get another 500 by next year, and they did it. Yeah. So awesome. That's so awesome. I think anybody who's making films at any level should listen to their show, not just to help elevate you, but even if you've moved past it and let's say I mean, I'm not gonna say like Michael Bay should be listening to them, but he probably should be in some aspect, because much like ours, it's not sort of much like ours, but in that way, it's going to kind of let's say Michael Bay were to listen to it, or Steven Spielberg or someone like that were to listen to it, kind of maybe remind them where they came from, and remind them of the artistry and the sacrifice and everything that they went through at the beginning.
And the desire and the hunger.
Yes,
the hunger.
Exactly. The hunger that was at the beginning of their career to do this.
Yes.
Where we were just watching Silicon Valley, and he just said the same thing to him. He said, you make one compromise after another, and next thing you know, you can't remember where you started anymore. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of directors and producers and camera and people over the years who've done that. And 20, 30 years into their career, they look back and they say, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah.
How am I so miserable doing what I love doing? Because you made all those compromises, you forgot where you started and what made you want to do this in the first place. Those little compromises you made because at the moment it was the right decision to make.
Right.
But every so often, you need to be reminded where you started so that this way you can still do what you want to do the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small part of it. It's just a small thing. That's something that I would take from it if I was, you know, in that upper echelon Hollywood level now.
Right.
I'd look at it and say, sometimes you need, like Robert Rodriguez still runs his own damn camera. He still edits his own movies. He's still doing it all.
Yeah.
On every level of film that he's been at.
He touches everything.
Exactly. His hands are in everything of that film. And I think that he never truly forgets what it's like to be down there.
Yeah.
So when he's got a cameraman, he looks over and he sees his cameraman that they're shooting out in the desert and his cameraman is sweating his head off and he's pouring water on his head. He's standing right next to him doing it as well.
Right.
He's not sitting
in Video Village under a tent
50 feet away.
with a fan on him.
Exactly. He's not doing that. He's always reminded of where he started because that's just the way he's positioned himself to be. I think a lot of people have moved past that. But anyway, to retract back to where we started on this, first off, yes, when this episode is done, go, if you haven't heard them, check out Making Movies is Hard and go back and start listening to some of their episodes. Some amazing interviews and discussions that they've had.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think that's, listening to them is kind of what gave birth to Filmmaking Sucks. I think that you and I we've had so many conversations based off of this podcast and a lot of their conversations have, given us more and more to discuss between the two of us. And I think we both walked away kind of feeling like this is great. It's a great resource, but there's still something missing.
Yeah.
There's still an audience and you're not talking to the people who have the 9-to-5 job, the people who have never done this, people who are just starting out, the people who literally have nothing. And that's pretty much where Filmmaking Sucks was born.
Yeah. I think we mentioned this in our mission statement episode, how that's kind of where it came from, just wanting to talk to those people, and give them those beginners tips. And I think even we kind of lost that a little bit.
Yeah.
In some of our things where we just were doing a regular filmmaking podcast. We weren't being very specific about things. We kind of went very broad real fast. And we're only a few episodes in. So it shows how easily you can just get derailed when you're trying to make something and you want it to get a little bit bigger and you want a little bit of a broader audience. But you have to remember too that your audience that started is what you're aiming at. And you have to kind of keep at it toward them.
I mean, I think recently we've had a lot of discussions and we've had a lot of guests on the show and it's been great talking to them. And I think, I know that we've had a couple of people reach out to us from the Writer's Process episode, which was with Scott Perry.
Yep.
And it seems that a lot of people enjoyed that discussion with him. But I think that you and I are going to go back into what we started.
Yeah.
So a little bit more of an informational session.
Yeah, let's get back to giving you some something to learn.
Some knowledge.
Yes, let's drop some knowledge bombs. As another podcast host that we listen to would say.
Yes.
So when you went on their show, you said it was their episode 104 and they were doing listener call-ins.
Yes.
So they wanted to pick a couple of their longest time listeners and have them talk on the show. Now, what's different about this is the fact that normally in our experience, anyway, when we go onto a podcast, people are talking to us. They want to hear about our work and what we've done.
Yes.
Okay.
And we've done a number of interviews with different shows.
Yes.
And usually you have a project that you're pushing or you have a focus sort of that you're going to.
And they were happy to hear about your projects, but
they were completely supportive of it.
Oh, totally. But the focus of the interview.
Well, they reached out and they asked me what I wanted to talk about. And what I really wanted to talk about was getting them to make a freaking movie already. Because I'm a producer. I just need to stick my hands in things.
Yeah, reminding them what they started this for.
Yes.
And so you knowing you were going to be interviewed on a podcast went into the normal
research mode.
Your research mode, but at the same time explaining how you do things.
Yes.
Okay? Which is sort of what they were looking for, but not entirely what they were looking for. Because again, it was their listener call-in episode, and it seems that they were more looking for what people have been getting out of the show, why they listen to the show, how the show can be improved, talking toward them of what what you feel about them and their show and their work. And
you've been on this wild ride with them for almost 2 years and some length of time, and they wanted to kind of get some feedback and have a discussion about the show itself.
And maybe part of them wanted to be reminded.
Yeah.
But because you weren't really...
You don't know what you're going in for.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I prepared a whole big spiel about budgeting and how we do things and like, just do it, guys. So
one of your main points to them was that they've been doing the professional level for so long that the reason why they can't get one of the reasons why they can't get their films done is the same reason that damn near every filmmaker has out there.
Perfectionist.
Forget perfection, beyond perfectionist. We start writing a script and it gets bigger
and bigger.
And next thing we know, we're sitting here staring at $1 million script and we're like, okay, I have $10,000.
Yeah.
I got 10 grand and a part-time job. I can never make this script. And then that script ends up being thrown under your desk somewhere in a pile of other ideas that you had that you're probably, let's hope not, but you're probably never going to be able to afford.
Right.
Our opinion of it was that they've been working on this professional level for so long.
Yeah.
With like companies like, let's say, Cheetos. He's doing a Cheetos commercial.
Right.
If they want to make a $700,000 commercial, then so be it.
Yeah.
They're going to make a $700,000 commercial, and he's going to produce it.
Well, I mean, they're also working,
going to be
with professionals and professional salaries that need to get covered.
Of course, it's not about why it costs $700,000. No. It's the fact that if they want to make that much, if they want to spend that much on a commercial, then they damn well will.
Right.
And they don't have a problem spending it. Like, well, that's what they said it cost. All right, fine. If you can get it to 600, we'll be even happier.
Yeah.
But if it costs 700, then so be it.
Right.
And if you go over a little bit in post, there'd be a little, but the money is still there.
Yeah.
If it becomes necessary to go over that budget, they can. So while they may be locked into it, they can still push a little bit,
right?
If absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Although it's Timothy's job to keep it under there. All right. But our opinion was that they've been working at that level for so long, they kind of forgot what it was like that 10, 15 years ago when they started this, doing things for favors, doing stuff for free, asking people,
beg,
can
borrow,
you help me out?
Barter, and steal.
Yes, exactly. Beg, borrow, barter, and steal. Precisely. They kind of lost that, and they don't know how to get back to that. And I can totally understand that. I can totally understand that, because what we were doing 10 years ago, our first short film was literally shot on the week of Christmas in our basement.
I was the actress. You were an actor.
Exactly. With a little handheld camera. We didn't even have a tripod, so we just made it a found footage piece, and we made blood out of thin sauce. We made guts out of sausage that we bought at the...
It's disgusting.
Yeah, we bought sausage at the store for $8.
Yep.
And
there's some colored water in there.
There's some colored water into a Ziploc bag, put it under her shirt, we cut it open, and we eviscerated her.
Yep.
Okay? And we shot a 10-minute scene, which ended up being so useless. It was so unusable. We edited it down into a minute-long trailer for a movie that we never made.
No.
Okay? So it was one of those, like, this cost us all of $15 to shoot our first short film.
Yeah.
And then I remember we got the Canon XH-A1, and we got we went out, we shot a film, and we ran out, and I went out with 3-4 of our friends. We got on the subways, and we shot on the trains, and we had weird, tricky camera work, and all it cost me on the 2 days the 2 days that we shot, all it cost us was the little bit of costuming we gave to the 2 actors,
Which is pretty much we had stuff laying around.
Which was stuff we had laying around, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I bought some ties for it.
Yeah.
You know?
We had your grandfather's hat and somebody's jacket.
And the lunch that I bought them for
slice
shooting.
Of pizza that you
Yeah, exactly. For the pizza, a couple of slices of pizza, I bought them at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
After we got off the trains.
Yep.
And that's what it cost us. And whatever blood we had laying around the house that we used.
Whatever leftover Halloween stuff we had.
So at most, we got a 15-minute short that we shot for about $100 in total.
I think I died in that one too.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine going back to that point.
No.
From where we've, I can't imagine going back to making a 15-minute short for $100.
Ever having to go back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I can totally understand how them working at these super high budget levels. Can't imagine making a 90-minute film. For $20,000 or $10,000 or even, as some people we know, $2,000.
Yeah.
I can totally understand where they don't get it.
Right.
Like how is that even possible? Favors.
Yeah.
That's it. It's favors.
It's favors working together.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the big things that I love, and I'm just going to go on a real quick side note here, and I'm going to loop it back. I promise. One thing that everybody should listen to, and again, don't turn us off, but once you're done with this, go and listen to Mark Duplass's South by Southwest keynote speech from a couple of years ago. I had no idea that our methodology, our mindset, could so beautifully be put together and explained, but he did it.
Yeah.
And I like to go back. I listen to it probably once every 6 months or so. I go back and I listen to it.
Just to remind yourself.
Just to remind myself. He's really big about finding a tribe. Finding a group of people that you want to move upward with.
Like a comedy troupe that works together, and they all write everything together, and they work together, they do shows together, and whatever it takes to get the show moving, they all take a part in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many examples of this. Like, really, when you apply it, I mean, Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier. They were in film school together, and Kevin Smith was not happy with film school and how it was going, and they made a deal with one another that whoever finished their script first was going to make, the other one was going to help them make it, and it was Clerks. Yep. And that's where Clerks came from, and they've been together working on every single project since.
And he's the producer.
Yep.
Scott Mosier has been his producer ever since
the beginning.
He's always been there. Stanley Kubrick had 2 or 3 people. He had he had a costumer that he worked with all the time, a cameraman that he worked with all the time, a reader. His wife was his reader.
Yep.
When he had ideas for books would come in or something, she would literally read it for him and tell him whether it was going to be worth it for him to.
Just like I do for you.
Yes, exactly. Tell him if it was going to be worth it, because he's got so many other things he's doing. Well, what's going to be the next one? She's already looking for the next one that he's going to want to be involved in. And much like you, she loved reading. Just read one book after another. So it's like when you find that one, it's like, oh, he'll love this.
Yeah, and none of that.
And there's more to it.
When you have an artist, like an artist is going to get obsessed with something, with a project, and if it's not going to be feasible, get it off the ground. Don't give it to him and let him fall in love with it.
Yeah, exactly. If he falls in love with it, we're going to go.
We can't do this.
Head over heels.
Stanley,
his Napoleon project.
Yeah.
For 20 years, he was trying to get a Napoleon project off the ground, and it never happened.
Right.
So it's almost like he was obsessed. He became
fixated on things.
Anybody who's seen the documentary Kubrick's Boxes, will see he had tons and tons. He had so much stuff that he was collecting for this film that he never made.
It was such a shame.
Anyway,
we're going to get away from Kubrick.
Yes. Yeah.
Before you get lost.
So, anyway, before the interview, you had an idea of what you wanted to talk about, and you had a whole breakdown.
I have a whole list.
Which you didn't really get into in their podcast, because again, it's their show. You're not gonna take over and start running things. So the main thing you wanted to talk to them about was exactly this: taking that $1 million script that they've got sitting there and figuring out, can it be shot for $20,000-$30,000?
Right.
Micro budgeting the hell out of that script. What are you paying $1 million for? Does it need it? Do you need to shoot?
Well, I mean, we're making this a lot bigger. I can't do a show or a speech on like how to micro-budget your script because it's all different.
Yes, of
but
course.
The process of bringing down a budget,
getting yourself in the mindset of how you
and how you and I have found our methods or our techniques of bringing our budgets down and getting things done.
Yeah.
So that's what I will call this. Yeah.
Micro-budgeting your script.
Micro-budgeting your script.
All right.
So number one, like I said just before, number one is finding your tribe. Now you and I, we work with a group of probably 7 or 8 different groups of filmmakers. And I don't know if it's unique. A lot of people say that it's unique, our little community here. I don't think it is. I think it's just we haven't found the other communities yet. But there's 7 or 8 of us, and we all kind of work together. No, we all kind of work as separate little units. Most of the time, there's a producing partner team.
Yeah.
There's a producing partnership.
Like us.
Yeah, like us.
Like us.
And they'll work on their projects individually. And once the project comes up, then they kind of send out the feelers and kind of call everybody in. So for example, Deborah's Films is one of our partnerships that we work with.
For years, that was Patrick and Chris Murphy.
Yep.
Pat Devaney and Chris Murphy worked together. Everything that they did, Pat was generally the director, and Pat was always a director, and
Murph was the producer.
Murph was the producer.
Yeah.
And they worked together to get Pat's scripts out and done. Now with Zombie Hunters, they wrote the scripts together. They had another writer that soured, unfortunately, but nonetheless, doesn't matter.
Right.
They continued working together, and they got that series out.
Right. So then they would get, so just as an example to walk people through, this is a television series, so it's a little bit different than a movie, but they would get an episode to a point that they were ready to produce. They would reach out, they would find their own locations. They would... Well,
the way they did the show was they wrote 20 episodes first. They wrote 20 episodes. And they knew what was going to happen. And so if they had one location that they were going to come back to 5 months from then,
right,
that's what they would do. They picked the locations that they could get the easiest and use and get the most out of right off the bat.
Right.
So there was stuff that they shot around for when they were doing episode 2. They shot stuff for episode 5 and 6.
Yeah.
There was stuff during 6. There's stuff right now. I mean, and that show started 10 years ago. They started doing this. There's stuff right now that they shot before they met us. 9 years ago.
9 years ago.
Yeah. So Zombie Hunter is almost 12 years old now,
yeah,
right?
About, I'm assuming.
Was it? No, 2007 was the first episode. We met them in 2009. Yeah,
I thought we met them in 2006.
Was it really?
No. I already graduated when we met them.
Yeah,
right,
2007 was their first episode.
Yeah.
We met them in 2009.
Right.
And there was stuff that they shot before they even met us that's going into future episodes now.
Right.
So that's how efficient they were in what they were shooting.
Yeah, when you have a location, you shoot everything you possibly can at the location.
Yeah.
So that's a tip that you should just keep in your pocket for now. So yeah, they'll put together their production for the most part. Then they'll probably reach out to us. Usually you run camera, and usually I'm assistant director. Our friend Louie is usually another camera, and Mark Boutros, a friend of theirs, is the third.
Is their main camera.
First camera. Yeah. So they'll reach out. We'll all agree on a date, and we'll all lock it down. Usually a couple of weeks in advance. We have a backup rain date as well.
Yep.
So we hold those both on our calendars. We get the script in advance. We get a shot list. We kind of go over it, and on the day of, we've been working with each other long enough now that we pretty much know what we're getting into going into it.
As a cameraman, I know what Pat's looking for.
Yeah.
And having worked with Mark and Louie for so long, we all know how each other work.
Yeah.
We know that a lot of the time Boutros will generally be on like a tripod or camera rig of some type. Me and Louie are usually bouncing around in monopods.
Yeah, I think usually how we balance you guys out is Boutros focuses on wide shots and close-ups, and then you and Louie are wide shots and medium shots, and then you and Louie kind of do the cross shots.
Yes.
And that's pretty
down,
typical for a 3-camera production.
Yeah. And we break down his shot list to correlate that.
Right. So then, day of, we all just kind of do our assigned positions. And, why do we do this? Because eventually we're going to have our own projects that we're trying to get up and running. And, Pat's been my AD when I couldn't be, or Pat's been my second when we've had, crowd scenes. He's been a location manager for us. Murph's been a location manager for us. Louis
always been
our second camera.
It's always in every project we up until recently, the little shorts we've done, but up until these couple shorts, Louis always been my second camera on every project we've ever done, and I've been his DP on his feature film, and a couple of his shorts before that as well. So it's a relationship that we built. Unfortunately, we've never actually shot really any of our projects with Boutros on camera.
No, we haven't. We should do that one day. When we shoot in Jersey. So I mean, and it this is not something that we do for profit. It really is just about helping one another out, and being able to staff our crews. That's kind of the focus of everything. And what Mark Duplass says about this is this is going to be your crew. You find people you can work with, and you work with a ton of different people. I mean, we've met people on Patrick's sets that we've brought onto our sets. Mike Scardillo, who does a lot of our props and our special effects. We've met him through them. Louis, we met Sarah through. Sarah's been super great at sound and being our set photographer.
We reconnected with Emily. Helps us in makeup now. So it really is, it's working with people, giving yourself the opportunity to work with new people, meet new people, and build the crew bigger and bigger and bigger. Because these are the people that you may not be able to take care of them now, but the next time around, you're going to try your hardest to get But the point is that when you do have a budget where you can pay everybody and you can make sure that everybody's getting what they deserve for it, these are the first people you're going to call. Like if I get hired, I've had quite a few times where people have wanted me to work on a project and they had a bit of a budget. Unfortunately, the projects fell through, but that's pretty. That happens a lot. It happens a hell of a lot more than most people would think. So if your project falls through, you're not alone. It happens all the time. But the first thing I do is say, well, can I bring on this person? Can I bring on that person? We had Dave Geshman, who did the special effects on Theta States. He gave me. We had a price, and we had a price that we worked on based on a certain amount of work. And through the course of working on it, there were other things that he saw he could fix.
Because post always increases.
Exactly. He saw other things through the course of the film. He's like, well, you really should do this, and you really should do that. Maybe we can add this, and he did them without adding any cost. He didn't add extra.
Just because it helped the final product.
Yes.
And his name was on the final product.
Exactly. And that's how he looked at it. He's like, well, if I don't finish this now, then this movie's never going to get done. And all the work I put into it is totally useless. So let me just do this for him. And when he was done, he gave it to me. He did a whole bunch of extra work for nothing, and I didn't even ask him to. He just said, look, I'll take care of it.
I fixed this.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. I took care of it.
It just drives me crazy. I just had to fix it.
Within a month, I got him 3 jobs from other people who I'm like, well, now I got to pay this guy back somehow. I got to figure it out. And the universe heard me. The universe heard me and sent people. People started asking me after seeing Theta States. They said, hey, who's your effects guy? And I got him 3 jobs off of that alone.
Right. So that's going to bring me to my next topic. So number 1 is find your tribe. Find your tribe, people who you're going to work with, people who you want to come up with, people that you can barter services with. If you need to go and hold a clipboard for a day and just kind of AD and kind of keep somebody on track, that same guy can come onto yours and keep you on track as well.
Same thing.
So then let's lead into, I'm going a little out of order here, but seeing a movie as an opportunity. And I think that's what you're kind of talking about with David. Where it's because he worked with us and he helped us. When you were given the opportunity, when somebody else asked you, well, where'd you get your effects work done? I'm looking for an effects guy. Oh, you know what? I got this guy. He's great. Here you go. And that's part of building up the tribe. That's the next step of what we want to do, where it's, I've had people contact me where I used to do makeup years and years ago, and I did the makeup for Blood Slaughter, and sometimes people still come up and they ask me, I'd love to have you come and do makeup. Like, I really don't do that anymore. My kit is covered in dust. But here's who I would recommend.
Yeah, but we had 3 other makeup artists on the movie. So here, let me give you her number, his number, her number.
Yeah.
Call them. They still work. They still do makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid. I mean, a lot of these times, and when somebody else comes, it's like, I'm going to pitch a day rate for them, because that's what you do. You do the right thing. You step up by your friend and say, listen, this is, what you're going to do.
This is what they generally,
So give your friend a hand and we've had a lot of success and we've worked with a lot of really talented people. And I think it's because we've had that attitude where it's, you see things as an opportunity. For example, Kat Martin, our makeup artist on Blood Slaughter.
And Theta States.
And Theta States and Mastectomy and Brain People. And she's been our makeup artist through most of our recent projects. And she started with us with Blood Slaughter. I had worked at a haunted house with her, and she was kind of starting makeup. She was kind of being an apprentice to a professional makeup artist that we both knew from the haunted house, and was looking to build up her resume. Mm-hmm. She didn't have any feature films or anything under her belt at the time that we brought her on for Blood Slaughter.
And Zombie Hunters, too.
Brought
her on to Zombie Hunters, too.
Yep. And it was
Mike was looking for help, and he's like, okay, well, we said, well, we know this other makeup artist. She's willing to help.
Yeah, she's willing to help. And, she actually had never worked with latex and paper towels.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The back, that big thing in the beginning of Blood Slaughter is just paper towels and latex.
Yeah, and I mean, she knocked it out of the park with that.
Mm-hmm. Not a seam to be found on that back.
Not a thing.
Ripped the girl's back open with paper towels and latex, and you could not find a single seam. It looked amazing.
So yeah, I mean, and just the fact that we were willing to give her a chance, I think she's kind of stuck with us through most of our projects after that, and she's been willing to work with us on a number of different things, not just price, but experimenting, different supplies. Mastectomy, she made us amazing silicone prosthetics. Yeah. And, a lot of that was all custom work done by her, and it took a lot more time and energy and effort, but it gave her a reason to do it.
Yeah. And somebody else she met on Zombie Hunters was Janine Maloney, and then Janine moved to New Mexico a couple of years ago, and she's been working as a makeup artist, and she got herself a job working on the new horror film Eyes of My Mother.
Yep.
And when she had to shoot, she called Kat in.
They were shooting in Long Island, and they asked, do you know any makeup artists in Long Island? And she just happened to, Kat. So she called Kat up, and they did a lot of the makeup. Well,
I don't know how much. Yeah, I don't know how much of the movie they did or not, but yes, they both worked on Eyes of My Mother, which is
huge
everywhere
right now.
It's on Netflix. So we have a makeup artist who started with us in Blood Slaughter, now just worked on a big, I Have Seen Midnight, I think, film now.
I believe so, yeah. And they met on the Zombie Hunter set.
Yep.
They
met on a set that they were volunteering on, didn't get paid for.
Yeah.
Not 5 years ago.
Right.
5 years ago, they were doing that. Now they're here doing this. And incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So
you never know the connections that you're going to make and the opportunities that people are going to find. On different sets, that's what you need to do. You need to see your film as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it seems like such a scam. And yeah, people have scammed using this for,
of course,
since the beginning of film. But it really can be an opportunity.
Yeah.
You really are meeting a lot of people who are just starting out, who are just starting to have budgets, that are just starting to figure things out. You never know who you're going to meet on those sets, where it's going to lead.
And then you got the other part of it too that happens everywhere, which happens on upper levels as well as the low levels, where if we're doing a project, and we have we really want to get this thing done, and we just cannot get the money for it. These are still people who we can call, even though they do these other big films now.
Yeah.
They're willing to come down in price for us because we've always worked together. And if I tell them or you tell them, I really don't have the money for this, you're not trying to screw them. You truthfully just don't have it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like, can you do us the favor? And okay, cool. They're willing to work with us on a lot of that because they started with us. We all started doing this together.
Right.
And that's how you have
That's how you build a relationship. Yeah.
That's how you have Bruce Willis working for free on a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Because they have that relationship where he's like, you know what? The union doesn't like it. I don't give a shit. I want to do this damn movie, and that's my friend. I'm going to go do this movie with my friend, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
And that's how you get that.
Yeah. That's how you build a relationship. You have to, I mean, yeah, it's so hard to be like on both sides of this argument. You have to do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not talking about taking advantage of them.
No, you have to do the right thing. I mean, that's how this works. When you do the right thing,
the ability for them to be willing to do that for us is because of the fact that they know we're not taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
They know we're not doing this to take advantage. It's just, okay, we want to make a film, and hey, if they don't like the project, they say no. Like, you know what? I don't like this.
No.
I don't really care for it. This isn't the type of thing. All
and
right.
You have to respect that.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, because when you do something that you don't love and you're not passionate about, you're not going to do as good a job as you would if something that you really truly care about. And I mean that even when you and I go on to a set, I think it's like when one of the first times we helped out Mario. And we went down for Spies Files. We were having lunch with my parents, not 20 minutes from his location. And we told them that we would just stop by, and so we kind of stopped by and we walked in and he was looking lost. He
had some people cancel on him, and the location opened later than he expected it to. He had a lot of issues that things just compounded one after another after another.
Right. The things that happen to everybody.
So by the time we got there, he was already 2 hours behind.
Yeah. So I just grabbed his production binder and I grabbed his clipboard and you grabbed the camera. You had your camera with you.
Yeah.
And
because we had just done some stuff for Theta.
Yeah, we were doing some pickups. And just you grabbed your camera and I grabbed his clipboard and we just jumped on in and got him caught up to the point that we could before we had to leave again. But that's what you do. I mean, you help each other out. I mean, it seems so simple of a concept. And it's I mean, every once in a while I like to get paid. I'd like to have some money in my hand.
Yeah, I'm not advocating. We're not advocating at all to have everybody work for free on all your films, because you know what? That's just not right.
Realistic.
It's your project.
It's not realistic.
It's your project. You can't expect everybody to give their 100% all the time when they're doing it for free for you. There comes a point when the favors run out. Okay, so we're not saying this is the way to make your films forever.
No.
Eventually,
this is how to make your first.
This is how to make This is how you get your first one done.
Yeah,
that's it. And based on that, you move up. All right, we did Blood Slaughter for what, 13,000.
Yeah.
This time, all right, well, the movie itself was smaller, but it became bigger because of the post that went into it and the sound that went into it and everything else it became bigger. We needed a bigger budget for a film that was on paper smaller.
Yeah.
Way smaller.
Way smaller.
But we could have gotten a whole bunch of new actors who we'd never worked with before and paid them the lower rates that we paid people for the first movie. $20 a day or $50 a day or something. We'll cover it, but we didn't.
No.
Because we're past that point already. No. We've already done that once. We can't do it again.
Well, for example,
because our favors run out.
I mean, I'm just using examples from our own experience. We had Samantha, who was Blood Slaughter Massacre. She played Reagan. And very small sort of role. And she did a great job on it, and she was a trooper through all the different shoots. And, we really enjoyed working with her. So when Brain People came around, we ended up moving her up and giving her a lead role, which is one of her firsts.
Yep.
So she went from getting a small speaking role in Blood Slaughter, to actually becoming one of our leads in Brain People.
Yeah.
We actually called her back for Theta for some pickup shots that we needed as well.
Yeah.
And she was more than willing to come down, and she had a great time putting on the costume and doing crazy, wacky things for Theta. But it's the opportunity that we gave her, where it was, she kind of put up with a smaller role, and the chaos of having our first feature in production. Yeah. She stuck with us through it all, and to reward her and to thank her, we gave her a lead role, because we thought she could handle it.
And then Louis gave her a lead role in Good Day as well.
Yeah.
So now this is Louis' first film, which is being done this same way, favors and borrowing and bartering and begging and everything. Yeah. So, but now he's offering her a lead role. So, okay, he may still not have the money for it, but it's a bigger role.
Yeah.
She's got her own character poster for the film. Her name is going to be going to be a lead of the 5 or 6 leads of the movie, because it's more of an ensemble cast.
Right.
But she's one of the main characters of the film.
Right.
You know, and while there was very, very little in the form of compensation going between us, the opportunity was there, and she didn't have she doesn't have any other roles. You know, she hadn't worked in anything else yet.
Yeah.
So it's like we gave her an opportunity to show what she could do.
And now she's graduating from
exactly.
school with two lead roles under his belt.
Exactly.
You know, and a movie, and one of the movies that she was in,
and a Budweiser commercial now,
and a Budweiser commercial. You know, and I know we're talking about bartering services. Another thing I wanted to bring up, you know, because it sounds like, we help each other out. So most of the time when we have a feature, or we have a project at all, usually our crew positions are pretty filled up, or we have I don't even know what the word is, a directory, a pool of people that we can reach out to. You know, anywhere from people who are willing just to, you know, come down, lend a hand, be a grip, be an extra set of hands. Yeah. Handle food, which is amazing when you can have somebody who is willing to just come down and help you with food. You just get, you know, we have a pool of people that we can contact. Are you available this day? B, would you be, you know, willing to do this? Help me out with this. You know, most of the time we try and get everybody transpo. You know, especially if it's location you can't.
We got to get in the car and pick them up ourselves. We do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, it shouldn't cost them anything to help us. I mean, that's how we kind of feel.
But now, what you want to do is you want to talk about how do we apply this to what Timothy and Ulrich are doing.
Well, yeah. One of the other things I want to bartering. Yeah. Bartering is not just between the filmmakers, where it's like I'll help you on your project and you help me. Mike Roach, he has done a number of projects with us, and a lot of the times we helped him back out by editing his reel.
Yeah. He had the opening scene in Theta States was an optional scene. It was like a stinger scene that wasn't totally connected to the rest of the movie. It was just kind of a setup. But I was afraid that the movie itself might be too short based on the script. So I wrote an opening like 8-minute scene just to kind of fluff it out a little bit, just in case I was only looking at 70 minutes or so. I wanted a little bit longer of a film. So I wrote this opening scene that didn't totally connect, but was the same. Okay, here's a precursor to what may happen, what's going to happen later in the film. And I talked to him about it. I said, you know, I actually wanted him originally to be the lead of Theta, but he was having a kid and they were moving to LA, and the schedule just wasn't going to work.
It didn't work there.
So I said, well, look, I still want to work with you one last time. We got him in, and I said, all right, let's shoot this thing. What would you do for the day? He says, well, I need a reel edited.
I'm moving to LA, and I need a reel.
Exactly. So in exchange for him working the day of shooting, and we even did a second day of pickups for it as well. In exchange for that, I edited together a reel for him, which he ended up. I don't know if he has an agent yet. I don't know if I think he does now.
Yeah, I think he does.
But he started taking an acting class out in LA, and the acting coach said this is one of the better reels that he's seen.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the footage on there is stuff that we've shot with him. You know, and now on his IMDb, he's credited as the short film, and he's credited in the feature film because it was shot for the feature film. But then I took it, since it didn't end up in the feature, we released it as a short. So he's actually got 2 credits out of that, which looks good when you're looking for an agent. And that's the sort of thing when we say you're working for credit, that's the type of credit that actually does help in certain areas. Now, I know that we all say this, work for credit. Well, you know what? Credit doesn't pay my rent. You're right. But credit can help you get an agent. It can help you get other roles. It can help you. There is a limit to what that credit will get you.
Right.
There is a limit to it, as long as it's being used for that specific purpose. Like, you need an agent, you're moving out there, you need, all right,
also to
then
the point,
this will help you with that.
You know, I think that we also helped him out with some scenes that he was shooting.
We shot a couple.
You shot his engagement.
And he also wanted to show more of his diversity as an actor.
Right.
So he came over to the house, and we shot 3 separate scenes that he wrote, just scenes. different lighting, different this, different that. So they look like they were parts of different projects just to show them specifically for the purpose of putting them on his reel.
Right. So what we're talking about here then, if you have an actor and you can't pay them, or you can't pay them as much as you wanted to, you can offer them, A, I'll edit your reel. B, I'll shoot some scenes for your reel. I'll help you shoot some scenes. You have a light kit and a camera. You can shoot their headshots.
Yep.
These are all things that you can offer in exchange.
Something that they're going to have to pay somebody else to do.
Yeah.
You can do this for free for them.
Headshots are very expensive. We're talking a couple $100s for your headshots. Having to pay somebody to edit your reel.
Yeah.
Could be a couple hundred.
And then it's just up to them to take it somewhere and have the photos printed. But that's not impossible.
No.
That's not difficult to have done now.
Yeah.
Hell, at this point, if you have yourself a good printer, you can print out some really good looking headshots.
Mostly,
at home.
if you're working in an office, print at the office. Use the fancy printer.
Yeah. So these are things okay. So you were talking when you talk about Timothy and Ulrich. Their projects have a lot of CG.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they've both worked in the past with CG houses before.
Right.
Okay. And they know what these CG houses will cost. Some couple $100 a day,
right.
sometimes $1,000 a day, whatever. And because these are big CG houses, because as we've learned, CG artists, they don't do everything.
No.
You have some artists that do landscapes and some of them that do animations, some of them that do smoke and fire and things like that, some of them that do water. Yeah. And that's what it is. When you're hiring a CG house, you're hiring 7 different artists
that all have a specialty.
That all have a specialty to make everything. That's why it's so expensive. At the lower levels, you find a lot of CG artists that will do a little bit of everything just so that they can get that work in order to get hired by a CG house.
Or just an individual artist who's just trying to build up their resume and their portfolio.
Yes. So one of those things that one of your suggestions for them was next time you're at that CG house,
talk to the intern.
Yeah.
Talk to the intern. What is the intern going to cost you? Mm-hmm. Give him an opportunity, he'll remember it. That
intern who's doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Who'll work with you at $20 or $30 an hour instead of the major artists that are working at $150, $200 an hour. This guy's going to do your movie at $20, $30 an hour. You just cut your CG cost down by like 80, 90%.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what you find in things. That's how you find that person.
Yeah, we've started with makeup artists who are looking to build their kits up.
Now I'm not saying the CG artist is going to be able to do the Avengers for you.
No. Okay, I'm going to get to that. That's right. You hold that point for just put a pin in that for a minute. Another thing you could do. We make horror movies. You want to make horror movies. You're going to need a special effects artist.
Yeah.
A lot of special effects artists are looking to build up their kit.
Yeah.
That's a big thing when it comes to effects.
Costs a lot of money.
It costs a lot of money. Supplies cost a lot of money. To do things properly, especially because you have to think about it. A lot of these brushes and sponges and all these other application tools are touching a number of faces.
Yeah.
So you literally need to buy disposable brushes, applicators, et cetera, et cetera.
Until you're looking at these $50 for a single brush type things, which can...
Well, no, those are expensive, but that's a choice. What I'm talking about is literally like to the point that, these disposable applicators, you have to buy them. So if you have a 7-person cast, there has to be 7 different disposable applicators for each one of those cast members. Mm-hmm. That adds up,
That's like 1 or 2 of those per person per day.
Yeah. And I mean,
so a pack of 50 of them
you need one for
the
first application, then you need it for touch-ups, then you need it for removal. Mm-hmm. I mean, these things add up, and they add up quickly.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, a beginning makeup artist is looking to build up their kit. You should pay them just for those disposable items, or provide them yourself.
Yeah.
We were really lucky with Blood Slaughter in that I had my own makeup kit, so a lot of the effects was done with my own supplies. Mm-hmm. So that saved us a lot of money, I guess.
Yeah, so a lot of our artists work with our own with
provided
these
supplies.
Our supplies. Yeah.
With provided supplies. We've worked out deals where we were working with different materials. We were moving into silicones. We were trying out different airbrushing and stuff like that. And And we literally just let them keep the supplies.
Yeah.
Keep whatever's left over. If you're going to make me something, keep the extras. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
Yeah, now they can take that extra and go work and get paid by somebody else
With the supplies
that
that you
supply
let them
that they
keep.
didn't spend a cent on.
Yeah.
And it's pure profit for them now.
Yeah, so you're giving them the opportunity to go and get more and bigger jobs and better jobs, and you're literally helping them build their case.
Yeah,
I mean,
we got a pint of latex left over at the end of the shoot. Here, take it. It's yours. That pint of latex is going to get them through 2 or 3 more jobs, possibly.
Yeah.
And they're going to charge a kit fee for that latex that we literally handed them.
Yeah.
So they got experience out of ours. They got something else on their resume. They got that latex, and now they can go get paid.
Yeah.
With that same latex.
Right, which is why we say you have to see a film as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Don't take advantage of it, but definitely see it as an opportunity. Yeah. I have no problem. I'm a producer. If somebody's going to help me out, then I can easily read a script for a weekend. Spend a weekend, highlighting a script, breaking it down, and giving some budget estimates, or taking a look at their schedule and giving them some advice. I mean, we've had friends come over and we've taken a look at their rough cuts and given them advice on that. It's all about helping one another, creating a relationship, and just being willing to help. Because if you're willing to help, people are willing to help you back.
Yeah.
Next thing, ask everybody. Tell everybody that you're making a movie.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many things that we have found located, not had to purchase because somebody literally had something laying around. We had a short recently, the au pair.
Yeah.
What we really needed was a baby monitor. And it was like, you can go to the store and, buy a baby monitor. I mean, that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah, what we did was I went to Babies R Us and I picked up the wireless baby monitor and I bought it. It was like $220 for this damn thing. I bought it on Thursday. We
shot it on Saturday.
Friday or Saturday or something like that. And I returned it. I put it back in the box and I returned it to the store on Monday.
Yeah. But at the same time, we reached out on Facebook and we randomly just were like, hey, does anybody have a baby monitor? And we actually had a friend reach out. Hey, yeah, I do have it. Unfortunately, it's at my mother-in-law's and, I'm going out there in 2 weeks and it was complicated.
Yeah, we couldn't get to him in time.
Yeah.
Before the shoot.
Right.
In order to get it. But it turns out it was the same exact baby monitor that I had just bought for $220. So if we were able to push the shoot back 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then when the shoot was over, afterwards and everything, he's like, hey, do you still need that baby monitor? I said, no, I bought it, whatever. He's like, well, you can have it if you want it because it's just been sitting in. He's like, we had 2 of them and, we're not planning on having any more babies. So he's like, here, it's yours. And he just gave it to us.
Yeah.
You can have it. So if I ever need it again, that's it. I got it out of his house and it's free. My friend Eddie did the same thing. He had some stuff that was from his mother-in-law's place. His mother-in-law had moved and she had some extra stuff. We got an audio monitor as well from him. He's like, it's sitting in my trunk. You want it? Take it. I was going to throw it out. So we got that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Reach out, tell everybody that you're making a movie.
That you're making a movie and talk about your movie. What you need, what you're looking for, what you're needing. If you have a certain location, we had one location, the doctor's office in Theta, and you were very specific as to what you wanted. And it was like, oh God, where am I going to find an old school office that looks like a therapist's office?
We went through Airbnb and a lot of the places that fit this were going to be like $1,000 a day to shoot in, and we needed like 2 days of shooting in it, or and it was like, oh God, we can't put $2,000 towards
a location,
towards 3 scenes in the movie. Like we just, at that point in the production, we just didn't have the money to put towards it.
No. So, we reached out to our network and we told, our aunts, other uncles, mothers, cousins, friends, neighbors, anybody that we, actually ran into at any point in time. My parents were super great, and I told them what we were looking for, and they happened to go over to their friend's house a couple days later, and they're looking around in their home office, and the guy,
he's a writer.
He's a writer, so he has a very large, home office with built-in bookcases.
Literally 2 walls of books.
2 walls of books, and he had the old school leather couches and everything, and my parents took a ton of pictures and they sent it over to us, and they're like, would this work? And it was perfect. I mean, I think it looks really great on film.
And it was your parents' friend. They didn't charge us to shoot for the day.
No.
The cost was getting all of our actors out there.
Yeah.
That was the cost of it. And we had another friend of ours who literally was doing, he was a teacher at the time, so he was on summer vacation. He had nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I got an actor in the city.
I need to get him out to Jersey.
We need to get him out to Jersey. Can you come out with us? Can you just pick him up, come out? We paid for his gas and tolls and everything. And he came out for the day. He helped me with lighting as well. Mm-hmm. And then while we were shooting, he went downstairs and took a nap.
Yep. Ate some pizza. And we called that.
And that was it.
Yeah.
We got this location for free, and a friend who literally had nothing else to do for the day. Sure, I'll give you a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a sound guy for one day from my friend's son who was 18 years old. He's about to start college. He's going to film school, and he's never gotten to make him. He never worked on a film. He didn't know how to get working on a film. So I said to him, "Hey, you know what? We're going to be shooting in the neighborhood." He told his son came down for the night. He ran sound for the evening and was even an extra in the scene.
Yeah.
He even got a line.
Yeah. Even another location that we were reaching out, looking for an office setting, and I reached out to a number of my friends, and one of them said, "You know what? My boss's son is working as a PA, and he's looking to get some more work on his resume. If you give him a call, we'll give you the location." And I gave the kid a call, chased him down, sent him 2 or 3 different emails following up, and I never heard from him. But they gave us the location anyway because I reached out to him.
Yeah, the guy said, "Well, if he never answered you, then that's not my fault that he missed this opportunity, but we had a deal."
Yeah.
We had a deal. I said, reach out to him and offer him the day, and he didn't take it. That's his problem.
Yeah.
But you guys can have the location. We shot there 4 or 5 days in a full office.
Yeah, and full weekends. We actually got like 8 or 9 days out of that location. So you never know where the help is going to come from. When you're talking about supporting indie film, and I know everybody's like, support indie film. Here's my Kickstarter. It doesn't have to be about money. It can be about time. It could be about locations, props, wardrobe. People can donate stuff.
Yeah.
That's all support. That's all still helping you make your art. So don't be afraid to talk to people. I think that's the biggest thing that we keep forgetting and remembering is asking for help and asking for people to support and, asking for what we need, just putting it out there. And I think I'm going to pick up that pin real quick.
Go ahead.
When you said, a CG artist can't make the Avengers for you. When you're making an independent feature film or an independent horror film, you're not looking to make the Avengers. You're not looking to win an Academy Award.
No.
Your first feature is about getting it done and showing that you're capable of actually completing it.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of... I think that this is where people get these ideas in their head, is that there's a lot of filmmakers out there who've done their first feature. Okay, Get Out.
Yeah.
His first feature. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
But whose first feature is it? It's Jordan Peele. This is not some nobody who just came out of film school.
Field, yeah.
This guy's been in the industry for a long time. Tangerine was shot on a cell phone and won Sundance. This guy's been a DP for how long?
Paranormal Activity, the guy.
Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity was done. Yeah, well, what about Paranormal Activity? This guy was a video game designer for 10 years. Yeah. So he shot a film in his apartment.
Then he did all the CG himself.
And did $150,000 worth of CG work on his own computer for free.
Yeah.
Remember that's what you're comparing yourself to. If you don't have that level of connections, then you can't expect that level of film to come out at $20,000. No. It's just not going to happen. You got to set your sights realistically. Okay? Yeah. So if you have a film that's dependent on something like that, on $100,000 worth of CG, either find a way to get that CG done for cheap, or maybe you have to you gotta shelve that script or scale it down.
Yeah.
If you have a script that takes place, okay, let's say your script has a party.
Yeah.
And the party takes place in this big Victorian mansion.
Yeah, it's not happening.
How important... What you got to say to yourself is, how important is the Victorian mansion aspect of it to your script? Yeah. Can this be done in a condo or your parents' house? Mm-hmm. Can it be done there?
Can
does
you
the
shoot
Victorian...
it in one location and just get an exterior?
Yes. Can the Victorian aspect of it go by the wayside? Is that just you being idealistic?
Yeah.
Or have you actually is that actually part of the film? When you need a basement, does it have to be a 3-level boiler room that you find Freddy Krueger in? Yeah. Or can it just be a concrete basement with some pipes in the ceiling?
Yeah.
In which case, I don't know how many people you can find that grew up in a house with a ruddy basement.
Yeah.
If you can shoot it there, you don't need all of that.
Yeah.
Because remember,
and basements are great. You can shoot blood effects down there.
And you just hose it down.
Hose it down.
And remember, and that's the other part of it too, is if it's really not essential to the script, but it's going to create this feeling. You create that feeling in your shots.
Yeah.
In you shooting it, in your camera work, in your actors' work, in your editing, in your sound design, in your music, in your color grading. That is what creates your mood.
Yeah.
This huge location, that's production value.
Right. No, and production value.
And it looks great. It does. It looks amazing.
When you have an awesome location or an awesome whatever.
We've had some judges from film festivals tell us that the body shop and the restaurant we shot in, both of which we got for free, because one of our friends owns a body shop, and the other and another one is the restaurant
filmmakers night.
Yes, that our lead actor is the co-host of a film night in this restaurant.
Yeah.
Every other month.
Really great example. 2 blocks from our house, we have our local neighborhood bar. It is the oldest bar in New York City, they're fighting to be named, which they are. And just so happens Goodfellas was shot in this bar.
Yeah.
And so was Tower Heist. And it's the local bar. It's the neighborhood bar. The owner is all about getting the neighborhood involved and taking part and having events there and becoming a part of the neighborhood. And he's embraced the filmmaking community, and he is more than willing. So you never know where you're going to find a location. Talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to people, because the worst thing they can say is no.
Yeah.
And what did that hurt? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Didn't do anything.
No.
Didn't hurt you at all.
Yeah.
So always consider if this is just production value or if it's absolutely necessary to your script.
You're making
if it's not necessary to the script to move on.
When you're making an independent film, when it comes to production value, you're only going to get 1 or 2 things of production value.
And that's just those 2 scenes they said looked great. They wish that some of the other locations were as nice looking. And you know what? Unfortunately, we have to work with what we have.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if this is one of the things that we're going to be knocked on in our film,
location.
I'm not taking that. I can't take. No. I'm not getting upset about that.
No.
They wished it was better. Okay. Great.
Sorry,
Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your opinion. But I didn't have another $10,000 to put towards 5 more amazing locations.
Yeah.
I could not find these big locations for an affordable price.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
But what you do is if you have something like that body shop that's available to you, how about you write an entire script based around that body shop?
Right.
Zombie Hunters has shot in that body shop countless times.
A ton.
Zombie Hunters, their friend works at a sheetrock warehouse.
Sheetrock, yeah.
So what do? They've shot at that sheetrock warehouse consistently for 3-4 years.
Yeah,
They've shot entire episodes in this warehouse because they're willing to open the doors to them.
You take care of your location. You make sure that you do the right thing, have insurance, so that if anything should happen, your location is covered.
Yep.
Nobody's going to be damaged by the fact that you're filming there. Take extraordinary care of these locations. Make sure it's all cleaned up. Make sure that nothing happens to it. Make sure all the water bottles are clean. There's no spots of blood. Do the right thing.
The restaurant opened about an hour early for us.
Yeah.
They usually don't get busy till about 4. So we said, all right, we'll shoot from 11 to 3.
Yep.
And we were done by 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
We were done by 3, and we had 8 crew members.
Yeah.
And instead of catering the place, we told everybody, we gave them it was a little more than a regular catering would have been for the day. But
I put more into our food budget because the location was free.
Yes, the location was free, so we gave everybody the menu, said, here, order whatever you want. Right. And we paid for everybody's meal, and we tipped the hell out of the waitress.
Yeah, and they got 8 lunches that they wouldn't have gotten before. Yeah. And we put their sign. They allowed us their rights to their sign.
We got a front shot of the front of the building, so the restaurant is...
They get a special thanks,
and they were totally cool with it. And the couple of times we've been there for film events since then, they've asked us, when is the movie playing? When is the movie playing? When are we going to see this? When are we going to see it?
Yeah.
So
way of... It's all about building relationships, and that's how you build a relationship. They knew who we were. Our lead actor is one of the guys who runs the event out of their location. So they were comfortable with him. They became comfortable with us. They see our faces all the time because we're there supporting the event and supporting them.
And he's shot other things there. A couple other people who've been to this event have shot.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe 5 or 6 different movies that have been shot in this restaurant, at least in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
At least 5 or 6 movies.
And literally, they get to open an hour early. They get paid, by the meals that we order, and we continue to support them, go to their events. I mean, most of the time when we meet my parents in Jersey, we have lunch there at this point because it's a really great meeting point for all of us, and we all know where it is.
This group of filmmakers has brought a lot of business to this restaurant. So when we need them to open their doors to let us shoot in there for a day,
they're happy
for a couple of hours, they're happy to return the favor and say, "Yep, go for it."
Yeah.
Just don't break anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are we going to break? It's a restaurant. Generally it's people sitting at a restaurant having lunch.
Yeah.
What is there to break?
Yeah, it's true.
So
build,
anything else?
Build your relationships. Ask people. Barter services. Big barter and steal.
Well, I wouldn't say steal, but
Yeah, well, we've stolen some stuff.
Yes, we have. My mother keeps asking for a location fee at this point because we've shot in her house so many times.
I mean, we've shot in parks and on trains.
Yes, we've shot in some places where we're not allowed to be.
We were not permitted to be, but in the state of New York, if you do not block
that's
traffic,
another thing. Use your state's laws to your advantage. That's something. You know what? Beyond that, there's something that I wanted to say. I hope maybe they're listening, Timothy and Ulrich. Something that I would have wanted to say to them on the set, and I've said it on your show. I was not on the show, but something I wanted to say to them. A big point of their show is also whether or not filmmakers need to live in LA to be filmmakers.
Oh God, not this question.
And we get it, and they say that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of big debate in this. Okay, I think it depends on what you want in your career.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to be a Michael Bay or a Steven Spielberg, you probably got to move to LA because it's the only place you're going to get $150 million budget to do it. You're not getting that budget in the middle of nowhere, Idaho.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen because the studios are all located there. So all of their resources are located there. So it's actually cheaper for the studio.
Yeah.
To make that $150 million movie that they're shooting in LA entirely on sets would cost them $250 million.
And all the resources know that Hollywood's right there, so they want the Hollywood money. They don't want to deal with you. They don't want to make you a deal.
That's the next part that I'm. That's
I'm
the
sorry,
next part.
I jumped
of it.
the gun.
Yes, that's the next part of it. They always talk about how do you make movies outside of it. The farther away from LA you are, the cheaper it gets to make an indie film.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It just gets cheaper.
Because movie magic still exists out here, and it's like people
like you said, we go down the block and there's that bar that would let us shoot, or we go to Jersey and there's this bar that will let us shoot.
Yeah.
You will not find that in LA because in LA, that's a movie town.
Yeah.
They know what they should be charging for a day's worth of film rental, of letting a indie film crew come in to shoot in their restaurant for 5 hours. They know what that is supposed to cost. They know what they can get out of it, and they're going to try to get that, because if they rent the spot out to you for the day for nothing, there's a chance that another production who was willing to pay a couple $1,000s for the day may have wanted to be there, and they just lost out on a couple $1,000s for that.
Yeah.
So the farther away from LA you get, the less people are
see dollar signs in their eyes, the more they see stars.
The more enamored they are with the prospect of a film being shot in their place.
Yeah, that said, though, we're making films in New York City. We have locations in New York City.
This is what I'm saying. We're doing this in New York City, and we're getting these things for free. In New York City, we're getting them in Queens, out in Long Island, we're getting them in Jersey. These are cities.
Yeah.
And we're still finding free locations.
Yeah.
Constantly. People who are totally happy. Oh, you want to shoot a movie in my place? Yeah. Oh, great! That's so cool.
Literally, we were at some show and we met a guy who owns his own comic book store, and he was like, "Anytime you want to film a comic book store." Now I'm like, I got to write a script for the comic book store now.
You know, people will offer you stuff for free when they realize you're making movies, and then on top of that, you can give them a website, and they can go to your website and see, wow, they actually are.
Yeah, I'm on IMDb. I have distribution. I'm a legitimate filmmaker.
You know how many people who don't know what they're not in this industry, they're not in filmmaking or anything, but when they find out you have an IMDb page, you are the coolest person in the world.
Yeah.
Wait, they're on IMDb?
Yeah.
Now, us as filmmakers, we know we all have IMDb pages. If we don't have it, you're literally nobody.
Yeah.
If you don't have an IMDb page, you are not getting anything.
No.
What have you done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No. So you need it.
Yeah. So go find your friend who has an IMDb Pro account and have them help you set up your film.
Yes.
Side note.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You have a friend that has an IMDb Pro account. He can upload your film's poster for free. So let him do it.
Another service you can provide.
There you go. Another small favor you can provide to people.
Yeah.
You know, I did it for Mario. I have the Pro account. I put posters up for 2 or 3 of his projects.
Yeah, for a while we were doing it with our Vimeo Pro account too.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever resources you have, I mean, there's somebody who can use them. You'd be
surprised how the tiniest thing that you're capable of doing can save someone's whole whatever.
I mean, how many people have we had on the show now? I'm working on my webpage. You and I sat down and made a Squarespace. We're looking for sponsors. Squarespace page, you know, over course of a weekend. And I'm like, come by the house. I'll help you set up your... Yeah. Oh, my God. And if you help somebody make a website, oh, my God.
That looks good. A good-looking website, too?
Yeah.
You just saved them a lot of money, a lot of time, and you're just explaining this to them. This is something that they could probably learn it on YouTube, but at the same time, they could also go to their friend's house and hang out for the day and throw on some movies and have fun while they learn how to make their website now and
update it.
And yes, exactly. And then when they have a question, they can just call you again and say, "Hey, how do I do this again?" Yeah. Instead of having to go find that YouTube video or find the one that has the specific answer they need.
And Google the specific. Oh, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Just call me. You know, then that's what it is. We're a community. I mean, and filmmaking is a community. Filmmaking is a collaborative art. You have to collaborate. You have to help one another. You have to be part of the community. You have to give so that you can take.
And just like what's his name says on that app, the film.
Oh, RB walks into a bar. Yeah, Stage 3002.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever signed up for Stage 32, which I'm trying to get better about using, and I re-put it on my phone, but good luck to me. He sends a welcome message, and his big thing is this community share. Share before you take. Share before you ask. Share 3 things before you ask for something. And
it's a good rule.
Yeah, it's a great rule.
It's a good rule.
It's a good rule because it keeps you... Yeah, you're kind of sharing just for the sake of sharing, but it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
You know, and you start to realize, you know what, listen, a lot of people, you know, we got a shout out from Christian Moran.
Yep.
You know, just for sharing the fact that he won Best Film at a film festival that Manny just happened to go out and attend and support him at. And it meant a big thing to him. It meant something you go out and support. I mean, you take one afternoon.
Because the truth is there's so many filmmakers who are making their things and we're all sharing our own work. We're all pushing it and everything. But ask yourself, guys, girls, everyone, ask yourself, how much are you doing to actually support the people who you know? How many times are you really sharing their work? So when it comes time for you, that you have a project out there and nobody's sharing it and you can't get anybody to post it, ask yourself why.
Why?
Because you never helped them in the first place. They're in the same place you are. Well, I want to get my work out there, not their work. It doesn't matter. We all have to help each other get our work out there. We all are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That click share button takes just as long as that like button. Yeah. Just click both of them. Yeah. Click 2 buttons. You're sitting scrolling through Twitter and Facebook and everything all day long anyway.
You just have to move your finger like an inch to the right.
That's it. That's it.
Just move.
Click a second button. It's that simple.
That's simple.
You know, people will do so many different things. It's like they said there was that.
I mean, look at this. I was on Making Movies is Hard because I tweeted them. They had this really great episode, which you should all definitely listen to, which is work-life balance. And it's all about balancing everything because I struggle with this, and I know everybody else struggles with this. When you're an after-hours artist, as I like to call us, where you do the 9-to-5 job and you come home and you're trying to squeeze things in. Literally, I worked 8:30 to 6:30 today. Came home and here I am doing this podcast, and I'm tired and I didn't have much energy, but I'm doing it because this is what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and well, I don't even know where I was going with this. Oh, yeah. So they have a really great episode where they kind of talk about their methods of dealing with the stresses of trying to balance everything. And I literally just threw out a tweet saying, you know, I love this episode. Thank you so much. And they tweeted me back, and that's what started our relationship. And I ended up getting to do a listener call-in with them, which was super cool. Mm-hmm. And we had a number of people reach out over the last couple of weeks. Just, you know, after hearing the interview, they just wanted to say hello and say thanks. Mm-hmm. And we got some new listeners, which is really cool. Yeah. If you're listening now, if you're a new listener, give us a rating because we need it. But, you know, and if something as simple as a tweet, I mean, there's 140 characters. Like, it wasn't hard, and it got me talking to people who are on the other side of the country that I wouldn't have talked to otherwise. I would just listen to them in my headphones, you know?
And based on that,
yes,
he gave you something to look at and say, give me your opinion.
Yeah.
Now, is there any other way that we would have gotten to them?
No.
You know, gotten this chance
No.
for you to possibly work with him? I'm not saying we're going to or anything, but he said, hey, you know what? I like your ideas. Take a look at this. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, and I'm
simply advisory,
happy.
and
more than happy to look at it. I've been looking at it, Timothy. I'm working on it. If you're listening,
and this is also the type of thing where people charge tons of money to sit, read your script, and
so
give.
Stupid, but yeah,
you know, but there are people that this is their job to do that. You know. And
I told everybody to put it on their Kickstarter perks. Yeah. I know. Yeah. No.
And this is something that and it's not even like you're doing it to garner favor with him because they're 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
What favor are we going to get out of them? Right. It's just because.
But it's another script that I can take a look at, and it's a different kind of script. And
it's a fact of supporting the other filmmakers.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
I can help this guy I've been listening to for 2 years of my life.
Precisely.
And
they've helped us
taken
enough.
Me a couple hours. They've helped me get through my work-life balance issues. They've given great advice, and this is my chance to give them something back.
Return the favor.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Return the favor. We're a community. It's a circle. It's a circle of life.
I think we've rambled enough.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're good.
I hope this is good. I hope that people got something out of it.
Yeah, this is what happens when you don't record a podcast for a month.
I know you get so rusty.
You get rambling for 2 hours.
But definitely check out Mark Duplessis's South by Southwestern keynote speech. It's super great. He talks about $3 short films you shoot on the weekends with your friends, which I'm a huge advocate of. That's how we kind of came up. That's how we learned to do things. Anytime we get a new camera, a new piece of equipment, we have a new technique we want to try out, we write a short that involves that, and we use it as practice. That's something you do too.
That's something you do too. Keep shooting. Always shoot something. You have something in your last project. Well, this was a little bit lacking. Let's make the next project focus on fixing that. We got a new crane. Mm-hmm. I bought a crane off of another filmmaker friend of ours who he didn't need it anymore. So he gave me a nice deal on this big 18-foot crane, and I wanted to learn how to use it. So I wrote it. We had a script. It's like, you know what? I want to learn to use this thing. We went over. We shot the au pair with it, and I stuck the camera on that crane, and I shot the entire short on that crane, whether it needed a crane shot or not. Yeah. I did not take it off of that simply because I wanted to get used to moving the crane. Yeah. And I got used to it in a 3-hour shoot. I learned how to move it.
We had a 3-hour shoot. We literally had Angie that we've been looking to work with her on something. Took the opportunity. We shot it in her apartment. She didn't even have to really get dressed. Yep. She didn't have to go anywhere. She didn't have to
She
travel.
got dressed. She wasn't naked, but
no. But she didn't have to essentially she didn't have to get all dressed up. It required nothing. She didn't have any travel.
Shot it in her apartment.
We walked her dog.
Bought everybody lunch for we walked her dog. Yeah, you walked her dog, and we shot it in her apartment. We paid everybody in buying them lunch for the day, and the short itself was about a couple making dinner for the night. So the food that we bought from the store ended up being
craft
the prop
services
used.
Was prop food.
Yes, exactly, and that saved us money there.
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean,
and we did the whole thing for, it was maybe $60-$70. It cost us the whole thing, minus the $220 for the baby monitor, but we got that money back.
We got the money back. So
Didn't matter.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great. $3 shorts are great. They're great learning experiences. They're great things about building your confidence. They're great things about learning. I mean, you're not going to learn unless you're on the set, unless you're shooting. That's where you learn things. That's where things go horribly wrong, and you learn to think on your feet and to solve the problems.
Yep.
So keep shooting. Do $3 shorts with your friends. Just have fun with it. Use those opportunities to build your tribe. Barter services. Whoever helps you on those shorts, help them with their shorts. Do whatever. Shoot their headshots, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I mean, everything we talked about here. I mean, that's just another example that we could use.
So that's it for us at Filmmaking Sucks this week. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening. Thank you to all of our new listeners as well. Welcome to they're not our tribe, because that already belongs to somebody else.
I know.
Who are they?
We need to think of a word.
Yeah, we'll come up with a term for
our posse.
For our posse. Filmmaking Sucks has a posse. So subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher, Google Play, and or whatever podcatching app you prefer to use on whatever device you listen to.
We are with 2 exciting pieces of news that we'll be talking about later on over the month, because we have a computer again, so we will be recording. Number 1 exciting news is that you are a judge of the 48-hour...
The 48-hour film project.
Yes.
It is. And I am a judge on the Madison, Wisconsin.
Ooh, you little cheese head.
For the Madison,
Curd
yes,
head?
right?
Is that what it is?
Cheese, yeah. I am one of the judges for the Madison 48-hour film project. I'm actually waiting to get the submissions now. They did it over this past weekend. So one of our upcoming episodes, we're going to talk about 48-hour film projects, as we have done 3 or 4 of them already.
Yeah.
We've been part of, and we're doing a new one.
Yeah, that was my next bit of exciting news.
Next bit of exciting news is next month on, I think it's July 12th. It is July 12th here in our little town at the little bar where Goodfellas was filmed. Mo Zapata, who runs that film series, is doing a filmmakers challenge. It is a 9-day challenge where we're all going to arrive on July 12th. We're all going to get our assignments, and we have to submit a 5 to 10 minute short film on the 21st, I believe. And we're actually going to do this with Angie and Phil Kral. So we're going to get to work with them. And we have a couple of and this is what we were talking about when we said that, you end up with people who are always willing to, they're always down, always willing to help you, because you guys come up together. We were at a party last weekend, and a bunch of them were there, and we were just talking about them.
It was actually one of the screenings, the independent film screenings. We showed up to support Christian Moran. Oh, no, the party.
I'm sorry.
No. I was going to go with something else. Yeah, I'm going to go with my point. So we were there, and Angie and Phil were there, and we literally were like, great, what do you got? And we literally started just making a list of the different equipment, the different lights, people, access, resources, locations we have, and just kind of put it all into one big list, and that is our plan so far.
Yeah, but that was the reason why that was one of the reasons they came to that night, because we'd already talked about it.
I was just talking about the resources, pooling resources.
But we went to the party, to this party where a bunch of our friends, other filmmaking friends that we've all worked with in the past, and we started telling them that we were doing this project, and we're like, well, we need actors. Yeah. 3 or 4 of them all said, well, we're down. We're there. Let us know where to be, and we're there. Yeah. Without question, didn't ask them to help. They're there. Yeah. They were just willing to help out because...
they're our posse.
Yes, that's it. They're our posse.
Oh, I was going to say they're troopers, but somebody else has that too. Damn it.
Yes. Somebody else has troopers.
Damn it.
We have a posse.
We have a posse.
They're our homies. It's our homies. So
we're going to come up with a better term for you, I promise. Yeah. If you have a suggestion, just let us know, because we're floundering here. Moving on. That's it. We're done talking. One more. Then, oh, God. We were going to be at the Pominock Academy of Wizardry in Old Bethpage. Bethpage. Old Bethpage, Long Island. There's a little surprise waiting for you there. I can't talk too much about it. It's confidential, but we're going to be there that weekend with a creation. Okay. It is a Harry Potter themed event. 2-day event. Fantasy cosplay type show. There's going to be a bunch of vendors there that we know and everything. Yeah, it's going to be an interactive cosplay experience.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And Old Bethpage, the Palminock Academy.
Palminock Academy of Wizardry.
All right.
And that is July 8th and 9th.
All right. I don't know anything about Harry Potter, so okay. But yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah.
That's it. Subscribe to us, rate us, review us. And you have any questions, comments, concerns, problems, issues, or love letters, send it to filmmakingsucks@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter, Twitter at Massgrave and at Massgravette. That's both of us on Twitter. And Facebook, you can find us. You can find our Facebook pages and,
Massgrave Pictures and Theta States. And
Filmmaking Sucks doesn't have any accounts, but I think I've had enough accounts.
It's way too many accounts.
It's too many accounts to begin with, so we're just going to keep it as our own.
And then definitely go and check out Making Movies is Hard.
Yes, check out Making Movies is Hard. Listen to Timothy and Ulrich tell you all about what it's like being professionals in the industry.
Yeah, if you're getting tired of us
non-professional folk
working something.
Listen to them. They have a whole lot of knowledge to impart upon you.
Yes.
So check them out. And if you want to hear her episode, is episode 104.
104, check me out.
104. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next week. That's it. Good luck. Good night. Good luck, and make good films.